Hi guys, how are you? Okay, so today we are going to be doing a brand new part of our project. We've been working on skating legs, and we're going to work on doing the background. So I was thinking of what would be a nice backdrop for the skating legs. The assumption is that you are going outside to ice skate. There are also indoor ice skating places, but I wanted us to, initially we usually paint for this project, but we're gonna do something a bit different. So we're gonna kind of go the route of sort of concentric circles. So we've done Kandinsky circles, but this is not a full circle. This is, I would say, 1/4 of a circle. And what we will be doing is we will need a white paper like this, and we are gonna be using the color pencils that are in the blue family. So that would be turquoise, light blue, dark blue. If you have another blue in between, that'd be awesome. And purple, because in order to make purple, you need blue. You mix it up with red. And then, of course, yellow. So the reason we're having yellow is that we're imagining that if the background, if we were to ice skate, like you could do in New York City, where I'm from, you can ice skate in the night. And so the moon, we're assuming that the moon will be out. So that is the reason why we are going to be using yellow for a nice yellow moon. Okay, so the idea is that even though we have, let's count how many colors. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. We're probably going to be making more than 5 sort of like circular shape. It's going to be sort of like a U, but a wide U. And we're going to be maybe having to rotate that. Okay, so we're going to start off by first making the outline. So let's go take a look. I already kind of have it lightly colored. So the idea is that the moon, we want to focus on the moon. So we are doing a curve. So that should look something like that. And then we are going to do another. It's almost like if you're making a rainbow arch, right? You want to make sure that the space in between is kind of relatively the same. You don't want to go too thin because you kind of want to enjoy those colors, right? Right there we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means this is number 5, which means that we are probably going to have to rotate colors, meaning like we're going to be repeating the colors with the exception of probably yellow. Okay. And it has to be curved. It's a little tricky over here, but if you were to do this, you would obviously, it's always worth repeating, do this very lightly with a pencil, but I want you to be able to see how it looks. Okay. Again, make sure that you're still keeping it curved. And then that's it. So what you're left with is like if there were an arch, this is what the arch would look like, right? So it looks pretty cool. And this is how it's actually going to be standing up. So when we do the skating legs and we cut it out, we need to have it this way because it would be this nice, beautiful, bright yellow. And then it would also be going down. So let's just count. So this is yellow, so that doesn't count because we have, if we color the color pencils, we have really four of the blues, right? So, and that's the assumption that you're going to do. So this would be, and obviously, just so you know, it's lighter to darker, right? We're going lighter to darker. So over here, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So these are 4 colors, which means that you're going to repeat the color 2, and in some cases 3. So we're going to start with the light. Let's first do that yellow so we could get that out of the way. I have like a mustard yellow over here, which is a little bit darker than a regular yellow. So that's the first thing that I want to color. We are coloring, for this part, it's pretty easy. So we're just coloring in one direction. And over here, you might curve it a bit. I don't like when people color all over the place, like in scribble scrabble form, because it doesn't work. We want it to look neat, right? And now we're gonna go ahead and, oopsies, I got in there. So we need to make sure that when we're lining up our colors, we're going darker. So I'm gonna go like this, but I'm also gonna play with this and go like this. The purple is actually darker, so you might wanna also test it out on a separate paper. I ended up testing it here. So the first thing is to go with this nice sort of turquoise, bluish green. It's not as blue as I would like it, but it's good enough. We can also probably find a lighter baby blue. So if you have that in your color pencils, that would be great. It would be awesome for you to have at least 3 colors, which means light blue, darker blue, and purple, right? That would be the ideal, that you have it like that, set up that way. And then it would also just going along. So now I'm going with a darker blue. See, it is definitely darker. And that would be the next color. Let's go see how that is looking so far. I think it looks pretty. I'm going to probably need to sharpen it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. We will need a sharpener at hand because you will quickly run out of the actual color. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue. I noticed that with this part, I'm gonna have to go over it again because I can tell right now that the color is showing some white. I didn't get all of it, but I'm going to go ahead and go over it one more time. I'm going also in the direction of the curve, which is another option, and that kind of helps you stay in line. For this little bit, I have to kind of go the opposite direction that I was initially going, and that's just because I want to make sure that I really get all those parts over there. And I'm going to go over it one more time and quickly go over this one more time because this sort of looks green. So I actually, if it were me, like obviously it is me, I'm going to go over this a little bit with the blue. Not so much, but just a tiny bit to give it more of a bluish color as opposed to just that initial like more green turquoise. I don't want it to be so green. I want it to look more on the blue side. So I'm going over it lightly so it will combine the colors. So you can actually create colors. You can actually even take this one and probably go again here and then do it with a darker color. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to just go ahead and go, let me just double check. Yeah, this will be over here. So I'm going to go with the darker blue. I'm coloring that in right there. It really runs out super fast. That's the drawback of using color pencils and the benefit of using crayons. However, you're able to be, unless you have those thin crayons, you're able to be much neater by this way. We're probably not going to get to finish this in the next 10 minutes. Keep in mind that I'm going a bit faster than you probably would go. I do not want you guys to do this sloppy. I want it to look very neat. And the reason I'm going faster is one, because I'm a grown-up, and also because I don't want to take up the entire time. When you are doing it yourself, it's important that, whoopsies, it is important that you make sure that you are taking your time with the coloring, because you want to make sure that you are getting all the parts that are not, you don't want to leave white in there. You want to cover it all with a color pencil, and you also want to make sure that you are not coloring sloppy. We don't want to get up and close and then see that it looks sloppy. So it also helps to kind of turn your paper around so that you can be able to go in the direction of that curve. And again, I'm just going to repeat this because I don't want there to be any confusion. The only part that is yellow is this part, because that is the moon. Everything else will be a repetition of the blue colors. If you have several kinds of purple, let's say you have a lighter purple, which I think I do. No, I don't. But if you did, you can easily go and do 2 kinds of purple. Like You can mix up the purple if the purple is really light, you can put it closer to the lighter blues. But if it's on the dark side, then obviously you would put it closer to the darker blues, because you want it to be sort of like a color gradient fading from lighter to darker. Now we're going with the purple. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do this part. I hope I don't run out of time. I have. I'm just gonna quickly do this because I really want you guys to see the difference right there. And I'm sorry that this is taking a bit longer than I had anticipated, but it actually probably will take you longer than this. All right, so as you can see, the color, just from there, the color is kind of fading from lighter to darker. I'm gonna go, probably looking at this closely, you can't see it that well on the camera. I'm probably gonna go a smidge darker and retouch this up so that it could look more of a difference, but it is moving from a lighter then to darker. So that's what you wanna create. Remember, making arches, do not make them straight. There's like if you were doing a rainbow arch, but instead of using rainbow colors, you are using colors in the blue family. I hope this was helpful. Have a good one. Bye.